Román tore his ACL. He's out for the season. We can't get a full evaluation of the knee until you actually go in there and do surgery. We don't have a date set for that yet, but it will come in the next week or so. You have inflammation issues and things like that where you want the knee to calm down a little bit. So we'll have all those details forthcoming, but he's done for the season. Today's the roster freeze deadline, as you guys know, and Damian Lowe is going to be activated into his spot on the roster.
Is there any kind of even a rough estimated timetable on recovery and when he might be able to be back?
You know, other than standard ACL is 6 to 9 months, which is obviously a big window. And you know what all the doctors are careful to say is, look, until we get in there and we understand, you know, was there other ligament damage, was there cartilage damage, you know, some of which you see on an MRI and you can guess at, but until you get in there, setting a rehab timetable is not worth. It's not worth speculating about. It could be longer than what the standard is. I think it's fair to say it's not going to be shorter than 6 to 9 months, at least to my knowledge.
What did Román give you at center back, and what specifically are you guys going to have to replace?
Yeah, he was a big presence. I thought he had done a great job for us since we joined him, since we added him, and you know, it's just a tough injury. He was so excited to be here, and you know, we were so excited to add him. That said, we have good options there. Zach Scott's been doing it for 15 years for the Sounders in various iterations, and Brad Evans, I think, did a very good job. You know, it was never a comment on Brad's ability back there that we brought in Román. We got a great deal on a great player, and we went and did it. And that's the way we're going to go going forward if we have opportunities to improve the team. So I think, you know, Zach and Brad bring different qualities to the center back position. But you basically look at what they do well, and you try to complement it. And, you know, state the obvious, the rosters are frozen as of today, so you know you're not able to make another acquisition, and we need some of the young players again, like a Jimmy Ockford, like a Damian Lowe, to be ready and to step up if they're called upon as well.
Torn ACLs affect certain athletes different ways, but do you think that his style of play is particularly worrying because he's such an aerial threat and such a physical guy? Is that sort of worrying at all going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's Derrick Rose or he's got to explode to the rim 30 times a night. You know, yeah, he's got to get up on aerial duels and he's got to be able to battle and things like that, and that will take some strength around it. But if you've seen him, he's a pretty powerful physical specimen as well, and he's got a lot to work with naturally. So the thing you worry about in these things is just getting them right, getting them healed, and making sure you put these guys in the right position to succeed. But you know, if you look at that injury, you know, he's up in the air, he gets bumped as he comes down. It's just injuries you want to control for everything, and you want to say you can predict them, and you want to say that you do everything you can to avoid them, and sometimes you get things that you can't control, and this is a bad injury, and you can't control it, and you know, we're going to do the best we can with it to try to help Román and try to let him know that we support him and that we're going to be behind him, you know, throughout the rehab process, and hopefully he's back in the Sounders uniform next season at some point.
It's hard to find a silver lining when it comes to things like these, but having a back line that's played a lot of minutes together earlier in the year, does that maybe help ease the burden a little bit, looking at the stretch around here?
Yeah, at the end of the day, Román played, I think, 4 times for us. So we've had guys that have played a lot more games than that, and look, it's been the way the year's gone. I mean, we haven't had a lot of straightforward procedures in any position this year. So we're going to do what we keep doing. We're going to keep adapting. We're going to overcome this, and you know, the team's playing well. 3-1-1 in the last 5. You know, we have all our bodies basically back now. Of course, as soon as we did that, we lost Román. But you know, we got to be ready. We have to step up, and the games are too important. There's no more margin for error. And that said, I think we're trending really positively in terms of the team, and that's why I say maybe Zach Scott or Brad plays that position a little bit differently than Román. But the guys around him adjust, and we can handle that.
With the amount of injuries and absences you guys have had this year, I mean, have you experienced anything like this, particularly going back to your RSL days?
You know, I don't know. You know, the thing I would say is, look, it's not the time of year to be reflecting on how hard your life is. It's the time of year to be saying, how do we win a title? And the way you're going to win a title is by overcoming. And when you go through adversity, and I said this back in the summer, you go through adversity, and it's how you respond to it. And if you respond positively, and if you overcome it, it bodes very well for what your prospects will be when all the chips are down in October, November, December. And I think our team is setting up well to make a good stretch run, and that's what we're looking forward to.
I certainly heard what you said about not having any prognosis right now. but you also said hopefully back next year. Is there actually a concern that he might miss next season?
Depends, man. Until you get in there and you understand the full extent of the injury, it would be, we don't know. So that's why I qualify my answer by saying hopeful. A normal ACL rehab, you'd expect him back next year, but until you get in there and you understand, you got to qualify. Maybe I'm over lawyering it again, like I did to you the other day. But we're hopeful. We're optimistic.